Hello and welcome to In Business Talks 2, a weekly podcast about people who work together as a couple. Learn the secrets of business partnerships, the benefits and pitfalls of working together. Be it husband and wife, father and son, mother and daughter, friends, relatives, or any other combinations of business partnerships. We are your hosts, Tracy and Ian Earle, founders of In Business, a networking and business support community, and together we are In Business.
As well as speaking with other couples, we'll let you know of any useful business apps and websites out there that our members have come across and shared with us in our regular weekly online meetings. Plus, we'll tell you about our special bonus episode coming up this Friday, our Friday Fix. So be sure to listen all the way through to the end to find out more. This week's guests are Charlotte and Russell Trudgen of Arctic Associates. So without further ado, let's crack on with In Business Talks 2. So welcome to In Business Talks 2, and it's lovely that we've got Charlotte and Russell Trudgen of Arctic Associates and AccuSpace with us today.
Yeah, it's great to be with you. Very good. Thanks for asking us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's one company with two
parts. It's two parts.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yes. Cool. Yeah. Welcome, guys. Good to have you with us today. Tell us a bit about your business. What is it that you do?
Yeah, we've basically, I was working for a commercial architectural practice. I'm an architect by training, and a friend of mine who was retiring from his practice said, "Why would you be able to come and take over some of the work that I want to hand over to someone?" And I said, "Okay." And one of the driving factors was if you study to be an architect, you'd take quite a long time to get there. And I'd always said that if I was going to start my own practice, I'd want to do it before I was 40. Yeah. So actually, I was 37 actually when I
just made it.
So I made
it. Boom, he's in.
And so that was kind of like the catalyst. And I thought, yeah, let's go for it. Charlotte, obviously we had a young family at that time, and Charlotte, you were sort of involved with other stuff, weren't you?
Yeah, we were both. So at the time, when we decided to set up our own business amongst a very ridiculously busy time. We had started up a charity with some others, a children's charity, which was like an after-school club thing we were doing with children on a local estate, and which was wonderful. We loved it, and we had 3 young children. We were just about to move house. You know how it happens. This is what happens to us all, yeah? We find the most busy time in our life and think we'll add something else in, like starting up a business, which we think, oh, we can do it. And then you realise this huge hill that's above you. And so we started up a very busy time. Well, you think we can do it? So it was incredibly busy time. And but it's been an absolute joy. And we started off as an architectural practice. That was the main thing. And then as time has gone on, we've added other areas to it because we realise there's things that work well with architecture, and they've become their own businesses. But we still work as a trading company. We wanted to make sure that Arctic was the trading company, the trading name for a few reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. And do you specialise? Just another quick question on that. Do you specialise in any particular type of architect? Are you a specialist? Do you have a niche, or is it?
Yes, everything? It sort of happened actually over time. The guy that I took over from was actually the architect for Bradford Cathedral,
right?
And he was very much into conservation, repairs, etc., and all the aspects that go into looking after listed buildings. And it kind of like happened that I ended up doing the same, and it's been a journey that I've really enjoyed.
Yeah, because you're currently working on a UNESCO World Heritage Site, aren't you, in Saltaire?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that was kind of a lovely job to work on. It's the United Reformed Church there. I mean, they've had a bit of a catastrophe with the storm damage last year. So we're nursing it back to its original state, which has taken on a lot of specialist repairs, which need sort of heritage conservation techniques. So that's been a real joy to do.
That must be wonderful. That must be.
Yeah, it must be a real sense of worth.
Bringing it back
must be
to life.
A lot of job satisfaction, I would imagine.
Yeah, and of course there's that lovely Morley connection as well. You know, Titus Salt came from Morley, and it's sort of, here we go again.
Of course. Yeah, I forgot about that,
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they call it a model village?
Well, I think I think that's its UNESCO listing, and that's what makes it unique. It's one of the only. Well, I think there's 2 or 3 in the world, but it's one of the most intact model villages. So there's
the
lots.
church is so rich, isn't it? It's just it's a small area, but it's so rich in finishes and.
But I mean,
incredible
Titus
techniques.
Salt was raking it in. I mean, he must have been like the Elon Musk of his day. He was creating something that everybody wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're half of the business, Charlotte. That's a little bit different than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still in buildings. Actually, my history is my dad was an architect, my sister's an architect, my brother-in-law's an architect. So, and I love buildings, and I've always loved buildings. And when I studied, I came to Yorkshire some time ago, and I came to study textiles. I was a cross between a fine artist and textiles, and I came to do quite industrial but very good course in Huddersfield with textiles. And when I finished studying there, I had a textile degree in weave design. So my history is as a weave designer, and I worked in the mills before a few of them shut.
It was a BSc, wasn't it?
Bachelor of Science. So I've always had a kind of interest in design and working with machinery and how things work. That's it. How do things work? And that's what I've come to now. So now, having gone through commercial interior design and seeing the need for well-designed acoustic products, things that help the sound within a building, and realizing they can either be very technical, but they can also look very beautiful. So I love sculpture, I love 3D, so I work them together to create 3D kind of sculptural products that work well, basically. So it's acoustics.
Very good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I love
Sounds
it.
interesting as well, doesn't it? Yeah.
It is.
It's funny how you've niched as well. How you've gone from the textiles has led you to the acoustics, has led you to the. And you can use the skills, I suppose, you've got in the textiles patterns or whatever it is that you do on that. Yeah.
I use it all, and the skills that I've picked up as well. Well, I learned. Oh my word, I've learned through interior design, through commercial interior design, and those skills have been absolutely excellent for being methodical and creative and noting things down, making everybody knows what everybody's doing, and those kind of skills are really excellent now for what I'm doing.
So, why did you decide to start working together?
What happened?
All
What
those
made
years
that
ago.
happen?
What
Think back,
happened?
guys. What made you decide to start to work together on this venture?
We had a little discussion about this, and Russell said, "Would it be too bad to say we were desperate?"
Desperation.
No, that's fine. Tell us.
This is where the rubber hits the road.
desperation? Tell us.
A lot of businesses are born out of desperation. Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was more to do with having a young family, and I kind of I naively said yes to my friend. Oh yeah, I'll take over.
Yeah,
and
like we do.
we do.
And it was great. I loved it. In the end, I said, look, I can't carry on doing this. I need help. Can you help do my VAT return? Can you help sort out my accounts and do?
Can you help pay the pay me? That was interesting because at the time there wasn't any software, and you had all these sheets of things, and it was like, oh my word. Anyway, you do it, don't you? We all do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the great thing about Charlotte is that she'll have a go at anything, won't you? And I think also the fact that your mum and dad had their own practice, and that kind of gave you a business sense, that the wages do need to be paid, and also just having a go. I mean, learning. Do you remember Sage? I mean, wasn't it hard work?
Well, some people still use Sage. Okay, we're not going to go there.
Yeah, we found other ways of working. But at the time, it was like, we've got to do this.
Working out the software and the accountancy software was quite a challenge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. But it was great, and you took it on, and then you said, well, how can I add to this business? And you said, okay, look, what if I retrain and use my textile skills as a designer? And so I said, yeah, come on, you can do this. And so you started looking for interior design work.
So that's why I retrained in commercial interiors, which was interesting, really, because then I thought, oh, great, we can work together. But the truth was, I actually got my own work in, and we didn't work together very much.
Oh,
Because
right.
it's just a little bit.
Although always you were always a good sort of string to my bow, in the sense that I could say, "Oh, no, we also do interiors," so
It was
that
good.
sometimes pulled in a few clients.
Yeah.
But, that was fun.
It worked well. We both understood each other. I think that was the great thing.
Yeah.
We
But a
didn't
lot
have
of
space.
skills that interior designers have are the same skills that architects have anyway.
So when you actually made the decision, then was it a scary thing? Did you sort of lie there in bed thinking, "Oh my God, what have we done?" What was your thoughts at the time?
Yeah, I think it was that. The latter. Yeah, just sort of, I need help. Just do it. So yeah.
Right.
I think that's when I came, because it was about a year later, wasn't it? Was it about a year later?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think we'd been going, and that's something I discovered as well. It was a bit like having a fourth child, wasn't it? Really, we had 3 children, but it was like, the business was like having another baby. I think the first 9 months we were in sort of incubation, and then after 9 months, you suddenly realise, I'm committed to this. I've got to keep going.
And what do you think the advantages are then to you both having these separate skills but working together?
Particularly as a married couple as well in the business, it's not like business partners. You're obviously your life partners as well.
The advantages are, I think, we understand each other, which can be an advantage and a disadvantage. I think we have chosen, and this is really important, to make sure that it's an advantage. And we've been on a journey like many other couples will have been on. And there are times when we have really been able to help each other out, and times when it's been quite difficult, when it doesn't seem like there's a bit of disparity going on. And I think it's been our choice, and it still is our choice, that our marriage is important. Our marriage is something we invest in, and we're not going to become business partners more than a married couple. So if we don't agree on something, we will choose to leave it. But the real advantage has been the skills we have, and I think we're together. We have great skills, and it's looking at what you're good at and what you're not good at. And I think, as an English people, maybe this is a generalisation, we can all look at what we're not good at. And I know, hands up, I can do that at times, probably sometimes too often. And we look at what we're trying to improve and the things that we're not good at, instead of concentrating on the things that we are good at. But when you look at the things that you are good at and you bring them together, I know with Russell, I value him so much. And we're constantly learning. So that's another thing. Just like you and Tracy are, we're constantly learning together and learning new skills. And I love how Russell's really got into social media recently, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, I hope, from being a bit of a dinosaur to being like really good. And he teaches us so much. So we're all learning. It's great.
Learning.
Yeah.
It's so good. Of course we're all learning, but I mean, it's been great. And so we just celebrated each other, what we've got. And if we don't agree, we now choose to go, okay, this is something that's not going to go away. We need to work this out. And it might be our personalities,
Yeah.
There might be personality issues. Of course, we're the only ones in the world that have this, I'm sure. But, but there are personality issues, and we think, well, to get on, we've got to work that out, which isn't easy. It's not easy, but learning to say sorry quickly, and not. I think there's something apologising, and apologising, And one thing we got taught when we were, actually, one of our ministers said to us when we got married is, don't let the sun go down on your anger. So. We don't always manage that. Okay, let's be absolutely honest. But it's a thing that we always have in our memory, and we try and just get right with each other as quickly as possible, even if it costs us, which inevitably it does.
Yeah. And what sort of challenges do you have then working together? Have you found would you have the same challenges, do you think, if you were just business partners as opposed to business partners and married? What do you think? How do you think that works?
I think there's a greater advantage in being married, because actually we obviously, when the children were young, if we needed to get them to swimming lessons or athletics or whatever, we kind of like shared the roles, and we would work away around sort of making sure that, I'll take my dictaphone and I'll dictate my letter, or I'll do something else while I'm waiting for them to have their swim, and all those sorts of sort of work-life balances were, I think, quite advantageous in the early days with the kids. So I enjoyed that. And I think also just we know how hard each other works, and we know how much we do out of office hours. So we know that when we can see each of us doing too much, we can say, okay, look, I think you need to take a day off, or I think you need to just recover,
An evening off,
or an evening off. Yeah. So we do actually. So there's a lot of advantages actually working and being business partners, but I don't think you would get if you were partner with somebody that you didn't live with or didn't know.
Both the relationships, and both whether you're married in working together and if you're separate, completely separate, and you're still business partners, there's always going to be relationship issues that need working out, and sometimes that can be more difficult in marriages because it's usually deeper issues that are at stake. So I think it's just the decision that we're not gonna wreck anything for this business. We are, saying apologising quickly. It's really, I mean, it's as simple as that. Apologising quickly, even sometimes, and if we don't agree, we just wait a bit.
If you like what you've heard so far, make sure you never miss a show by clicking subscribe or follow. It's made possible because of listeners like you, so thank you, we really appreciate your support. Now back to the show.
The other thing I think as well is our faith kind of like gives us a bit of a moral compass as well. When we know we're being obtuse or horrible, we can say like, okay, well, I shouldn't be like that. I don't need to be like that. There is a better way, and I know there is a better way. So that actually comes into play probably more on a daily basis than we realise. But I think our faith has sort of helped us through some tricky moments.
Certainly has. Yeah, certainly has. Yeah, certainly has. I think.
And do you think? Sorry, Charlotte. We've got to
No, it's all good.
I'm just going to say, do you think then, working together in business and being married, has it helped to strengthen the relationship? Do you think, or has it sometimes had a negative effect? Or how do you think being business partners and marriage partners, if you like, how's that affected? Has it made it stronger?
Yeah, definitely stronger because of the experiences that we go through together. I mean, we've been in business over half our married life. So I think before we were in business, I was studying, as I said, to become an architect, you're there for 7 years doing training and that. So I was training when we had our first and second child, and probably our third child by the time. So we worked at it. We had to work quite carefully and thoroughly. I mean, before we started the practice, I would take our eldest daughter, and she would sleep underneath my drawing board in the studio. and we would have to. So you could go and get a part-time job at M&S. It was just crazy, but that was all part of what we did already before we had a business, but I think we just carried on doing the same sorts of things.
And so the question about has it strengthened or weakened our relationship, I think it's a decision we made a long time ago that we're just going to help each other as much as we can. So where one of us is feeling weak, literally the other one just helps to pick them up, and we have our weak moments and our strong moments, or our strong moments and our weak moments, whichever way to put it. And so, and of course, we're not perfect. I mean, we sound like we're perfect. We're not perfect. But it's a decision that you have to just recall and say, okay, I'm really busy. Can I help you with that? Do you need any help with that? And or I know someone that could help with that. And so continually helping each other. And I think sometimes preferring each other.
And sometimes saying, let's have a takeaway instead of making tea tonight or something.
Yeah. You do have to be careful, don't you, as a married couple, that you have that time together where we choose. So after 10 o'clock, we choose not to talk about business stuff.
Well,
we say that, but we do.
Say that.
It was.
That was going to be my next question.
Okay, let's have the next question.
No, that's fine. Okay, well anticipated. No, I was going to say, basically, do you talk about business in your downtime? How do you work that? What happens?
Yes. Yes. Yes, because it's not something. When you're an employee, you go to work, you do your work, and you come away from work, and I'm sure you think about it a bit. I'm sure, and that's a great employee. We love employees that think about their work other than 9 to 5. When you're a business owner, it's churning away all the time, night and day. So yeah, we talk about it, and we have to consciously decide not to talk about it. I think that's more the point. We think, oh, we've got people here, we're not going to talk about our business, we're going to, and also to choose not to talk about our business but other things to each other. And it's absorbing, isn't it? When you're in business, absorbing is the word. You can work 24 hours a day, couldn't you, and still not feel like you're completing everything.
Yeah, it can
So
take
that
up
is
your
another
life, can't
choice.
it?
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
that's another life choice that we have chosen to go and do other things, to go for walks.
Yeah, I was going to say, apart from the mechanics of deciding when not to talk about business, and I think that is actually quite important. There is this aspect for me, and it's come quite recent. The actual word for work, it's got the same root as worship in Hebrew, and I think that's kind of like made me think a little bit differently about work. Work being different to a job. If you have a job, you're just doing something because you have to, within a set time or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're working, then it's something that actually you're almost like you're designed for. It's what you love. It's what you enjoy, and it is what satisfies you when you know that you've achieved something and done it well. You think, that's what I'm here for. And
it's a great feeling, isn't it?
It is, and that's the beauty. So for me, there is no kind of like separating my faith from my work. I kind of like it's all one thing all the time. I think that's a conscious thought and conscious decision. So I don't kind of like put my God in a box, for Sundays. I kind of like think, okay, this is what a daily act of worship is. My work and working with integrity. Having to work later because you've got to finish something because you said you would, you've got to do that. And it's really, a principle of life, but it's a good thing to do. And I enjoy working, and I think we've designed for it.
And like say, if you enjoy it, then it's like we try to switch off, but it's difficult. We find it difficult just to switch off. So one of us will have an idea, won't we? And then
you just go with it, don't you? While it's in your head and you want to get it out there.
Yeah.
Because it's living, isn't it? Well, our businesses are living things, and they are not regimented between times. And and I think it will be similar for you guys too.
I mean, we've learned some other tricks. We've learned some other tricks as well, haven't we? So if we set out an itinerary to go and see somewhere, we can actually say, okay, we can call this an architectural, itinerary, and we can claim this cost on the business. Provide the money's in the business to begin with, but it's sometimes it's actually that's actually quite enjoyable because you're suddenly thinking, I can really enjoy and I can claim this expense of going to this museum because it's in the business.
yeah.
It sounds a little thing, but actually, when you have your days off, it's quite precious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Days off become really precious when you really are, a proper day off becomes really good.
So can I ask? So I'm doing all the questions here. Go on, Tracy. Up to you.
I don't know if this isn't a question particularly, but I was watching your face, Charlotte, when Russell was talking then about his faith and his work and stuff, and you just look so proud. And I think the pair of you, are just proud of each other, aren't you, of what you have achieved?
Yeah.
Just you could just see that in your relationship. It is lovely to see.
I think I'm proud of what we've achieved. I don't know if it's. I try not to measure. Because we all have a good day and a bad day. That means that we would be sad on bad days, and I think we can be sad on bad days. I'm really real. I'm a real person. I admire Russell, and it sounds a bit kitschy, but we just love. Love is something that's really important, and
nothing wrong with
we
that.
love our work. Actually, we love the people we work with. We love our clients. We really enjoy relationships with our clients, with our suppliers, manufacturers, and of course we have difficult times with each of those things, but our faith has made a huge difference, and it's a joy. We count it all a joy. We choose to count it all a joy, and we choose to count the things that are good, and there always are things that aren't good, but that's not going to major out the things that are good, and usually find the things that aren't good do work themselves out. If you've gone wrong, you apologize and you get on, and just work in the best way that you can, taking care of each other and yourself as much as you can.
Right, I've got a question for each of you now in turn.
Okay,
right,
let's see if we.
It's the same question.
Similar.
I'll start with you first of all, Charlotte. So, what is Russell's most annoying habit at work? And please, without falling out, guys, without falling out. And Russell, get ready. I'll be asking you the same question.
Okay, what's his most annoying work? Most annoying thing at work. Oh, okay. I think
Didn't take long.
I didn't answer. So sometimes when he's answering email, since we're working at home, I've noticed it much more. Okay, so sometimes with an email, he'll go, oh. I go, what's that? What's something up? And so it's like, no. It sounds like terrible. Something's happened. So it's just the huffs, I think, sometimes. What is that? So that becomes irritating, I don't know, concerning, yes.
And Russell, the table's turned now. What's Charlotte's most annoying habit at work?
It's her very good hearing. She's got a rapier hearing. She can hear me tut. She can hear me tut under my breath. She can hear me tut under my breath. Probably one of her biggest faults, I think, is actually trying to stop, making her stop sometimes. So she wanted finishing complete, so she wants to keep going. So she'll work through to 2 or 3 in the morning. If there was something she had to do, she'll
rarely
do
now.
that.
I'm stopping that.
She's trying to stop. Well, she has actually changed. But,
I've changed my ways.
Yeah.
Yes.
So sometimes, because I know that the fallout will be in a couple of days' time, she'll be just so tired she won't be worth knowing. So, but the good thing is that we talk about it and we work it out. And, but you know, I've just learned to say, okay, she's going to do it. Okay, I'll just let her do it.
You know, it's interesting they talk about the things that we're not good at, but we do make a point in calling out the things that are good in each other.
Yeah, actually, that's probably the good thing.
I think, to be honest, that's more to the point. So, and I make a point. Oh, that's really good. You've done that really well, and the same for our staff. We make a point out of just finding the things that they're good at. There will be things that need pulling up, but that's generally how, and naturally, that's what we want to do.
And if you could, would you do it all again? Would you go back in time and start all this again, or would you think, oh, no,
we'll go down a different path?
We'll do something different.
We know no other way.
Yeah,
we know no other way.
That's a good question.
What would you do? I don't know. I don't think about it.
I think some of the challenges of being a professional, you have to abide by the rules and you have to make sure the rules are abided by. I remember when you do your final exams, it's the professional exams, and I remember listening to a talk, and the guy painted a very black picture of what could happen to an architect in practice. And then he said, "Does anybody want to leave the room now?" Sort of thing.
Everyone got up and left, did they?
Well, this is after 7 years of training. Nearly 7 years of training. You're thinking, well, it's a bit late now. But so he said, you could open a sweetie shop. And sometimes I think about that. I think, oh yeah, sweetie shop would be much easier.
We have a lot of discussions about sweetie shops.
I'll be looking for one.
Yeah, we'll watch out for that then.
Springing up in Morley.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, well,
but then, of course, you've got your own problems. You know, I think you'd have another set of problems. So he did make that point.
You'd be eating all the sweets and you'd just be obese. So really, that would be
and no teeth.
Yeah.
And no teeth. I think it's easy to think, oh, everyone else's business is easier than your own because you just don't know. Okay, and the truth is, everyone's business has challenges.
Yeah.
And what a way to grow. We've learned so much.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful for that. I have such an understanding of people now and situations that is we couldn't have got any other way. I wouldn't do it again. I would do it again rather than not do it again.
Yeah. I think though, if you said if you're going to start a business again today, would you start it all over again today? I think you'd come at it a slightly different way. So I think we are being changed, whether we like it or not, by technology and the whole social media network and the way business is done is
totally different.
It is different. I mean, I was trained with a fax machine and and writing a letter, and of course you just don't see that now. You're there with emails and instant messaging and all sorts. So it is different, and I think the challenge for professionals is actually how to adapt to that, veering into litigation. So there's
True.
also
We've got to swap the horse for a motor car
yes,
because
that's what it
saddles are
is.
not being bought anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's true. You've got to change. And I
You've
think
got to
as
adapt, haven't you?
creative,
Yes.
you do as creative people, and some people say they're not creative, but they are really. They're just creative in different ways. We have to adapt.
So what tip or advice would you give someone who's thinking of going into business with their other half?
Advice.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. I think we'd take them out for a beer and listen to them first. You know, just take them out for a meal or something, and it depends on the people and it depends on the situation. It depends on so many things.
I mean, I guess each of us has got different qualities. And actually, one of the things, as we were preparing for this, or while I was preparing for this, I suddenly realised, oh yeah, do you remember when we did the Myers-Briggs test?
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
We actually gave it to ourselves and to all our staff, just to try and see, well, how do we think? You know, are we these intuitive or judgmental people, the rest of it? And I think we both came back with we both were strong leaders, but with just slightly different initials out of the four. That I can't remember all the initials that they are now. When I looked at, we suddenly thought, oh, that's why we've got such strong opinions.
And we're not rollovers. We're not like, okay, darling. We're not like that. We're just we both have very strong opinions.
And it could be, you know, over the slightest thing, and it almost, you know, I'm sure our staff think we bicker all the time, but you know, sometimes it is a small thing. So I think you've got to know the personalities that you are to be confident, so that you can bring each other up or where your weaknesses are. So I think there's a good bit of, I would suggest anybody starting out actually looks at, you know, personalities and see how they're going to work. And it may be that they do need a third person to kind of like join them or to mentor them in where they might be deficient. There's a lot of skill involved in sort of bringing out the best in each other. And I think you just need to be aware that we have a character as well as a, you know, a culture. So we might have come from, you know, a different culture, but or we might think we have a business culture and mentality, but we still have a character that has to work in those circumstances and through the culture.
So it's worth sort of finding out about each other a bit then, do you think? Do you think you get to know each other a little bit before you decide to go into business together? Or
I suppose you've got your strengths and your weaknesses, haven't you? What might be one might have a strength that the other's weak in.
Yeah. So. And we don't always know what they are. When we started out, we didn't know what they are.
You don't know what they are in business, do you? Because business to life is different, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. And the roles that you take. So because we live together, the roles that we take in the home or whatever you might not be exhibiting all your strengths in a business atmosphere. So that's another thing that's quite interesting. I think actually networking, I know, you know, you have it in business, and when you're starting out to go to something like a networking group like you have, because you'll get to know others. And one thing that we've really benefited from, so as time's gone on, so we set up a business a while, even after a year, and you know people that you can ask for advice. And it may be we've learned the benefit of investing in help. So they would get to know someone like in business, like you have people they could ask for as a good accountant, you know, not just an accountant, but someone they can trust as an accountant they can go to, someone they can go to for business growth, someone they could go to for
legal advice or
but so people you can trust and you know are going to give you good advice, and that's really beneficial.
I think it's important to build up that network around you. Even though you are just two people in a business, you still need all that other support and guidance.
Well, you're not the expert in everything, are you? That's the thing. You're brilliant at doing what you do, but you might need help in other areas. You might not be super at marketing, or now, of course, Russell's brilliant at social media, but he wasn't at one point, but now he is. But you have to learn those skills, don't you? You have to find out about those things. So
Well, you're right, and I guess that's how you have to build your business, and you have to work on your business and not in your business. Sometimes,
and that's really hard, isn't it? At the beginning, you just it feels like you're firefighting all the time, and you're calmly saying over the phone, "Yeah, we could do that," and then you're going, "What?" I mean, that to some extent happens.
You just want to get on with it, don't you? When you start your business, you just want to do the doing. You just want
you do. So you can race off at 3,000 miles an hour.
Yeah,
And
but you do
then
need
you're
to.
thinking, so actually programming time, even when it feels like I should be doing this work, I should be doing this, and it's waiting there and it's almost calling at you, telling you, come finish me off, saying no, we're going to shut the door and go for a walk, and we're going to make sure we do adventures together as well.
Yes.
That's quite good. Do things that are fun, and remember that life is for living and life is fun. Life is a joy, because we can't carry on the momentum we do when we first start a business, although we do work hard.
Some great advice there, Charlotte.
Yeah,
Thank
some
you.
top
Thank
advice
you.
there. Yeah,
And if people want to see Russell's fine examples of social media, what are the best channels to get you on?
Definitely, yeah.
How
do
can
we find
people get in touch with you guys?
Plethora.
Well, Arctic Antics, Arctic ARCTIC _antics will take you to my Instagram page, and we have a Facebook page, and we have our websites, and we've just started a bit of Pinterest. So we're kind of like, if you go to Instagram, is probably the quickest way to see what we do. And then our
Give you all the other
webpage.
links then.
Yeah, and there's a link tree there for you as well.
And are you guys on LinkedIn as well?
Yes, we are. Charlotte's probably a little bit more efficient. She can pull a crowd much quicker than I can. So
pretty pictures.
And I should be doing more on LinkedIn, but to be honest, we've kind of I'm hating to admit it on this podcast, because I'm sure somebody's going to listen to this and tell me.
LinkedIn is what I do.
We'll put all the links in the show notes anyway, so people
we'll
can
put
get
everything
in
in there.
touch
So
with
people,
you.
if do want to get in touch with you, there's every opportunity for them to do so, which
Brilliant.
well worth doing, I might add. Well worth.
Yes, definitely.
Thank
Lovely
you.
people.
Definitely.
Absolute joy to do this. It really is. We love it. It's the first time we've ever talked on something like this before. So.
Right.
It's quite nice, because I think a few people have said to us, we've had to look at our relationship and look at how we work together before they came on the show.
I think that's absolutely true, and it does play out. What your other interests are in social media are actually really key to how you enjoy your work. I'm just thinking about even our kids. We raised our kids; they were doing loads of athletics and all those sorts of things. But then they've chosen careers that are absolutely similar to the interests that we've had. So one's gone into design; she's gone into product design. At the other end,
service design,
service and product, and the other one has done history, and now she's working as a manager. What does she do? Charlotte,
it's with
the title.
A marketing manager.
Marketing manager, and but she's looking at buildings and properties, and she gets to talk to more architects than I do. She's amazing. She's just like all this stuff. And then of course my son, he's working in the third sector in charities, but he's got to he's studied theology, and so between them they've got all this lovely collection of knowledge that we've been able to share with them and see them blossom
Your
into their
passion
careers.
is obviously rubbed off on them.
But
and
all
it
in
just shows
different
you
ways.
what influence you have on your children, doesn't it, as well, without realising sometimes.
Just love them.
I mean, we kind of, when we got to empty nesting, when they sort of left home, we suddenly said, what are we going to do with this big house? And we started taking in others as well. So we've kind of like had some cultural exchange with other people living with us. So that's been quite good fun too, isn't it?
Yeah, we've always enjoyed that, and I think Russell mentioned about your outside interests. They are good to keep you vital. It's really hard to fit in. You just have to make the date and just do it. But I think people don't realise how sometimes crazy busy. That's a word I don't like to use. We don't use the word busy, but doing the other things.
Active.
Because because we want to be interested in other people, and we've taken interest in asylum seekers and people that really, however badly off you think you are, there are others that are less, and it's good to just keep in perspective about what we have and what we don't have.
Valuing what you've got,
it's
been really lovely talking to you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
We'll see you around.
Yeah, thank you for coming along today. It's been really nice to have you on the show.
It was a pleasure. Loved it. Thank you.
Enjoyed every minute.
Yeah, brilliant.
Thank you.
Take
Goodbye.
care. Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
And now we come to our knowledge share for this week. So what is it, Tracy?
Our knowledge share this week is lastpass.com, and it's a password manager. So once you've remembered your master password, then LastPass remembers the rest. And I've been using that recently, and it is a big time saver.
That'll be great for me then, because I'm always forgetting my passwords.
You forget your head if it wasn't it.
Yeah. We're almost at the end of this week's show, but before we go, we are excited to tell you about our bonus episode this Friday on the Friday Fix, where we will be discussing a business-related subject with a fellow business owner who will be sharing their advice, thoughts or knowledge on a particular topic. And this week's Friday Fix is with Gemma Edwards of So Contented, so tune in to find out more.
Our special guests on next week's podcast are Joyce and Jane of Kumbasul Enterprises LLP. We're really looking forward to speaking to them and digging deeper into their experiences as a business couple. Also, if you'd like to join us at one of our online networking meetings, the link is in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us this week on In Business Talk 2. We hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, all that we ask is that you simply tell a friend about the show. We'd really appreciate it. Until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together we are In Business. Goodbye.
Goodbye.